Hello folks, this is something I never thought we'd end up doing. That's my President grant to Mark II. We bought this in 2014. If you remember, back in 2014, it was about August, September time that the UK was finally allowed to use SSB on the CEPT set of channels from type approved suitable radios. And what that means is not old clunkers that were once which had been illegally imported, but new sets which are CE approved. And this was the first one I saw on the market from our wholesaler that did this properly, and that is that one set up for the UK as a multi-norm. We could go through the bands, and we're in AM, we're in FM, we're in upper sideband, we're in lower sideband, we're in UK FM, and we're back to CEPT AM, CEPT FM, and we go around again. So it does it properly, because some of the ones on the market at the time, you had to put it into a Europe mode for it to allow the radio to go into EU, and some of them also didn't do UK at all. So that was absolutely pointless. So I really cannot stress how uninterested I am in SSB, and as a radio amateur since 1979, I don't have anything SSB. It doesn't interest me. Can I just get that across? I'm into I'm nearly all 70 centimetres, nearly all FM, and I will do a bit of AM on 4 metres, and I wouldn't mind doing a bit of AM and Morse CW on top band. We've got a base aerial going in for that, but it'll be a 10 watt set at the end of it. I don't think I have anything in the house which is more than 45 watts. I really have no interest. I've no interest in DX, to be honest. Not anything out of the UK. I'm not interested. And you know, ham radio is a very wide hobby. So CB radio is a short range two-way radio service up to 16 kilometres range. So expect to get a fifth of more range than you would on AM or FM. FM's always a little bit better range than AM, but SSB is always going to be a little bit better range. But you know what? One of the things that really, I think the phrase this pisses me off, is why have we got a clarifier? We're in 2025. Okay, it's a 2014 radio. Why have we got a clarifier? It's a channelized system. It's not like amateur radio where it could be anywhere. I mean, I've spoken on HF to somebody. He told me I was off frequency. How can I be off frequency? Absolutely bonkers, because it's not channelized. You know, I'm using a 1960s radio. It doesn't have digital readouts, but it's going to be in band. But I'm not off frequency. I thought, I don't want to talk to people like this. I really don't care. So here we go. Why have we got a clarifier? It's channelized. It should be automatic. So my experience with SSB as a business radio engineer, I was doing SSB 220s, Pi SSB 220s for the Welsh Police Service back in the 80s, and they're 100 watt. Are they 7 megs? I can't remember. They're crystal. I can't even remember whether the crystal control is synthesized. But they're 4-channel, and they've got automatic clarifier. So on the front of the set, all you've got is on-off volume. I don't even think you've got squelch. You might have channel if it's got more than one channel. There isn't a clarifier, but it's automatic. So why aren't these automatic? Because they want another button to turn, don't they? Because that's how CB is. So we're going to do this. And the reason we're going to do this, and the only reason, because I've shown this set before, we did a little bit of an overview because they were new out. And I think we've done a President Walker, but I said to the customer when we did the President Walker, I can't do much with the SSB because our test equipment doesn't do SSB. Now, nobody else's test equipment does SSB, and most of the stuff is done on AM when you're tuning an SSB radio such as this. But we do not have a 2-tone oscillator, so I cannot set up the transmitted audio, the modulation. So that'll be as it is. I can't read it, and I'm not going to make a 2-tone oscillator. I'm not going to feed 2 AF generators because I'm not interested. So really don't want to do this kind of job, but I've got a customer, a potential customer who's got, he's been on a bad error. He's got one of these and it's not transmitting anymore. He thinks it's got blown output transistors. Perhaps it has. So that's why we're doing this, to make sure we can service this sufficiently to say yes, we can service your radio. So that's what it's actually about. So I think it was President Walker we did, and we had the manual supplied by the customer. This manual has been supplied by the potential customer. Now it brings me to another part of this story. When I ordered this from the wholesaler, between it arriving and the service manual going to arrive, the wholesaler became terminally ill. So I never got the service manual, and that was another by the by. So there's a lot to do. This is probably going to be split into more than one part, because we've got to go through the procedures in the service manual, because I've never seen one before. So there we go. Test equipment required: 200 meg frequency counter, DC voltmeter and ammeter, distortion meter, we've got that built into the test set. Watt meter dummy load, we've got that. FM linear detector, we've got that. AF generator, we've got that. HF generator, we've got that. BF voltmeter, I don't know what that is, but I expect we have. Oscilloscope, so, and sinometer. So we've got everything it says there, but I know from my training with Pi that we need a two-tone oscillator, and I haven't got one. Yeah, it says frequency 2 tones, 2.5 and 400 hertz, 2.5 kilohertz, 400 hertz. We haven't got it. Right. And yes, I could feed 2 AF generators into a mixer, and I'm not doing it. Right. Let's go through the set. I mean, it annoys me enough that it has a frequency display. I don't know whether you can get rid of that. I mean, it's a CB radio. You're not masquerading as amateur radio. You don't ever need to know the frequency, do you? So I had a pen. I came in here. I left here to go and get a pen. Did an email. And put the video on pause while I go and get a pen. So let's be clear. UK's FM, CPT with an approved set can be AM and or FM at 4 watts. And then when they introduced the SSB, it's 12 watts peak to peak as a maximum. And remember, they're all on top of each other. So channel 19 is still the same channel 19 whether it's AM, FM or SSB. There's no band plan from our government, so goodness knows. Right, I think it's the 27th today. So we've never touched this. We're on channel 20. At the moment it's on CPT, and you know what, we'll have to do that, won't we? We'll do channel 1 CPT, then we'll do channel 1 UK, and then we'll do channel 40 UK. So it's over those 80 channels that are available. Of course it doesn't have, I can cross that out, it doesn't have low power, which is a fantastic feature on the 2781 sets. Does it have PA? It doesn't have PA. That's crossed 2 boxes out. So we'll go to, I'll tell you what, let's put it on UK channel 1. Put picture in picture on, and we'll see whether it's as ungenerous as watts as what we would expect. 3 watt scale. Is that all? Oh, we're on 8 volts, no wonder. That's better. It's 3 watts dead. channel 40, 2.6 watts. Obviously we'd be better off with a Rotel 220, but you know. I'd also like to know why President radios are so expensive in comparison to other makes when I can't see any benefit. .2 and the current, I'll go to channel 40. The current is a whacking 2.01 amps. Our power supply is a 2.5 amp power supply, and we're not going to be changing it. Deviation, for what it's worth on this test set, we go to UK channel 20 because it's set up for that. Wallow. Got a nasty peak like you get with Bannerton Route 66s and Realistic 1007s. Just look at this. If I go wallow into it, wallow, it kind of went up towards 2 and then dropped down. It's about 1.5 on there. If we do AM, this test set's accurate on AM. Wallow. Of course we can't do AM, can we, on without going into CEPT? Of course we can't. So we'll go to channel 40 then. I don't have to tune it around too far. We'll have to retune the test set. Wallow, wallow. It's 95%. So that's, you know, what you'd expect. So AM mod is 95%. So that's fine. Test gear's been on plenty of time, and we'll have a look at the frequency. And we'll do that on UK channel 20 so that we know where we are. Let's go to the frequency counter. .79107, slightly low, really is neither here nor there. 27.79.107, did we say? Yeah, we did. Should be 27.79.125, but it's now 10-year-old set, isn't it? And when we key up, it's probably a fake meter on it. It gives us, it says 8, whatever that means. It doesn't mean 8 watts, because it's doing 3. I'll say the meter lamps are okay. It doesn't. The LEDs are working. So let's go over to the signal generator, and I think we'll put in channel 40 CEPT, and then I'm not faffing around. So 27405. The service manual will tell me what to do it on, but at this point we'll test it in the centre of the band. This video may be in several parts. I've only got 90 minutes today. We're on business in Retford this afternoon, so I might take a vintage camcorder with me. We're going to, and whilst we're there, I'll also have a look at charity shops for records. That'll do me. Let's put a 100 microvolt signal on, so we should have S9. We'll go to channel 40, CEPT, FM. Volume, is it? And it says what? It says 9, so that's spot on. Obviously it's a working set, you know, so we're just going to cross all this off because it's a new set. All we did was the demonstration 10 years ago and then put it on the shelf to gather dust, waiting for a service manual to turn up, and then MkII sent us a service manual. So I said, don't send your set in till we've proved that we can actually do some alignment and repair it. So let's look at sensitivity. We'll do this FM because that's how we normally do it, and AM is going to be less sensitive. Let's put the cyanide meter on and we'll plug in our thingamaflop. Like that. Into the test gear. Show the cyanide meter. Oh, better turn the squelch down. If these have RF gain, I presume it's in a menu somewhere. Okay, well this is very good indeed. It's probably not adjustable either. It's 0.22 for 10 dB. It's 0.2 for 20 dB. It's 5.5. Squelch. I don't expect any of this is adjustable, but we'll just go through the motions. I'll put the attenuate up so you can just see amongst the wires what we're doing. So we've got that at 0, but this is the one we're dealing with. So we're 1 microvolt, 3, 10, 30, 100. It opens at 4.7 millivolts. A bit tight, that. 4.7 millivolts. I'd like it to be 100 microvolts, but there you go. And on the sensitivity end of it, and this is our important one for AM, I'm sorry, for FM, this is very important. 0.47, so that's very good. And then we're going to put an extra box in for ASQ. Switch that on. See where we are for auto squelch. 1.4, so that's what you'd expect. So we've verified it's working fine. It's lower power than you'd like. So just for giggles, this is nothing to do with the anything we're writing down. We're going to switch to AM. There, we'll switch to AM. We'll just see what the power is on transmit for AM. So we're on channel 40 of, so we're in the centre of the band. So there's 5 watts. So 4 watts should be there. We know it's doing about 3. It's doing 3.1 on AM, which is about what you'd think. And we'll just see whether we can do with it. This isn't correct. This isn't the way it's done. It's done with a 2-tone oscillator. But just for our own thing, I want to see what the current consumption is, whether our test gear goes over the top. So we're going to USB. I don't know which sideband you use. Not interested. Wallow. Oh, it's got a stupid cell call, hasn't it? Which sounds like, sorry, not cell call. It sounds like cell call, but a stupid Roger Bleep. You know, this is sold as a quality set, and then it's got a gimmick like that. How childish. So we key it up. Wallow, wallow. I mean, all I can get is to peak. Go back to wallow, wallow. Yeah, all I'm getting is wallow. All I'm getting is the same kind of peak of 3 watts. Right, so we have to take the lids off. I'll turn it off. I'll switch the soldering iron on in case it's not a pluggable speaker. I want to get an SWR meter out. We've been donated a few SWR meters, and there's somebody in who comments on these videos. Somebody in Corby. Hello, somebody in Corby, and I want to pass on to him at no cost one of the SWR meters that's been passed on to us. So I want to check one of those out today. He also wants 10 meters of coax. I'm going to have to see whether we even got 10 meters of coax. But it won't get done today. Oh, we've got another screw there. And now the phone's ringing. Well, of course, you know what the phone call was, doesn't you? It was an automated message. Your debit card has been debited 600 and something pounds for an airline ticket. If this wasn't you, press 1. If this was you, press 2. And you will go to our fraud team. Yeah, right. Really believe that. And I'm sorry to say, but it's somebody in India. Right. Of course, it's all surface mount. And I wonder if I can see what those devices are. Well, I'm not going to get my fingers covered in heatsink compound. That's kind of what you expect. Right. So we need to start with test point 302. In receive on channel 20. So we're in, obviously we're in CEPT. We've got to find test point 302. Now, this is going to take me a very long time. Except in the service manual, I'm not normally allowed to show these service manuals, but it's not come through the normal dealer source because allegedly they're encoded with your, if you send them electronically, they're encoded with your dealer number, and then you're in trouble for sharing them. But I haven't, nothing to do with me, I've been sent this. 302, test point 302 is there. And when you actually get 10 pairs of glasses on, you can actually see that it says that. Now, have we got a probe? We haven't got a probe, we've got a bit of wire dangling. You know, it might be adequate, might not. We'll find out, won't we? Oh yeah, 37897. And we're adjusting L304. There's pages of this. There we go, 37.899999. Then we go to USB, is set the second item, which is L306 using test point 303. Well, test point 303 is there, and we're adjusting L306. Let's see whether we can pick that up with our makeshift test lead. We've got proper probes in other workshops, but you know. Once again, my fingers causing it to not read. I think this is a case where we're going to have to. What we're going to have to. Oh, we're in the right mode. We're supposed to be on USB. We're not in USB. We're still in AM from the previous test. So we'll switch it to USB, which is there. See if we get anything on this test point now. $10.6975. It's exactly spot on. 10.6975. So we're not going to be adjusting L306 because it's already spot on. So this next thing is to switch to LSB. So we're now on LSB, and we're still on test point 303, and this time we would adjust L307, the centre one. We'll just absolutely be sure of that. No, it's not the centre one, it's the left hand one. For 10.6925. 10.6925. It's exactly spot on. So we don't need to adjust the left hand one. So this, now we're going to go into transmit, so, and it's L305, is that centre one? Yes, it is. So with test point this time, it's actually done on the frequency counter on the output. So we key up, and it must say 27. Oh, what mode are we in? AM FM. So we're in AM now, 27205, and it's 2720520. So we'll adjust that one. It's going to leave it very slightly high. There we go. That's that. Then we're going to FM. UK FM, and adjust RT302. There we are on UK FM. Once again, it's channel 20, and it's RT302. So we'll look at where that is. RT302 is there. They've given channel 19 frequency. The manual's wrong. It's 27.79125. They put 27.78125. Very, very close. Okay, that's now spot on. So we're now in AMEU. So here I am on number 6 item. Clarify to central position, connect a voltmeter to test point 301 and check for 1.4 volts. We're on channel 40. So this is our VCO. Check where test point 301 is. So test point 301 is somewhere there. Doesn't say what to do if it isn't. .552. Is high. Let's go to channel 1. Should be 1.2 volts. And it is 1.2 volts. Let's go back to channel 40. It's 1.5, it's slightly high. Well, it doesn't tell us what we have to do. I mean, obviously it's in lock, but it's not what it says in the book. A bit like Amstrad, which says one thing, but it isn't. Connect a frequency counter to test point 302. Right. And check with the frequency list. So I've got to go to UK, seeing as that's most important. .486. .2737.486. so it's correct. So that's done that. So the only thing which didn't work out was that, but it doesn't worry me. So now we've got 2 pages of transmitter alignment, followed by 1 page of receiver alignment, because there isn't actually much. So a fifth of the way through. Right, transmitter alignment. It's 13 things to do. Set to USB. So they want you to look at an ammeter, which I've got on the I've got here on the test equipment, which we don't show. RT201. RT201. And RT202. So why have we got 2 to adjust? Right. So I'll have to tell you what it says. I'm keying up its. Well, we're supposed to be in USB. We are in USB. Make sure I don't say anything. It's actually 680 milliamps. And that is 550 milliamps, exactly as they say. So I haven't adjusted the other one, but I'll just see what the effect is. That's 549 milliamps. So staying in USB, we now need to. This is a very strange thing to do. So we've just adjusted it, haven't we, to do 550 milliamps. Then I want you to adjust RT201, which is this lower one, if I remember rightly. Yeah, to add 100 milliamps, so it is a total of 650 milliamps. That's where we are now. And then they want you to adjust RT202 to add another 100 milliamps, so that you've got a total of 750 milliamps. $749. So that's the first 3 stages. So we're still on USB. So you want no modulation, oh, with modulation, which I can't do. So I'm skipping this because we haven't got a two-tone oscillator. So it was else 217, 218, 219, 217, 218, 219. Now it is a new set, so we're skipping that. So this one is AM. There we are. So what they want you to do is put it into transmit mode. Or just L216 to maximum reading on RF power meter. And they want modulation with this, so we'll use our oscillator. They want it at 1450. Somewhere around there. This should be fed into the mic socket direct. .216. Let's find 216. That was about at peak. And then .207. Oh, they want 207 and 205 clockwise. .205 and 207 is I can only see one of them. Let's say this is a variation between the manual and the set. .205 and 207 are here. So they want these clockwise. And then they want you to adjust 203 to center position. And I would say that's at centre position. .203 is at centre position. Just check once again we've got maximum on that adjustment. Let's go to the other meter for you. It's actually doing 4 watts of that. .203 in USB mode. I can't do that, and we haven't adjusted that preset because I don't have a two-tone oscillator. So that's the end of that adjustment. RT206. Connect an RF probe to test point 201 and adjust RT206 to minimum reading. So we can do that. If I can get this massive probe into that tiny radio. So we're looking for 206. And test point 201. Right, I found it's actually the antenna connector. So 201, that's 201. So it's test point 201 quite clearly. And we're going to go into transmit, and we're going to adjust 206 for minimum reading. So 20456, I think it's that one. See, when you've never seen these kind of things before, it's a steep learning curve. You need to key that up, no modulation. Probe that. That's our minimum. Okay, so now on to RT404 in FMEU mode. They want the radio to be 3.8 watts output. Well, we want 4, don't we? 20. So we're adjusting RT204. It should be that one there. Check with the diagram. Slightly different layout, but I'm sure it's going to be the same effect. So we're on the right test meter. It's at the moment doing 4.8 watts. There we go, 4 watts. Then AM, we can do this. This is done with a tone again. And why's my thing gone off? There we are. We want 207 counterclockwise. To 95%. Then 207 to 90% modulation. Just put that up on the screen. And adjust RT207 to 90%. Wallow. So that's done AM. So FM deviation, RT301, they say 1.9 kilohertz, but we want 2.2 to 2.5. So go to FM, see whether this is going to do deviation today. This test set does play up on FM. Wallow. Wallow. 1, 2, wallow. I mean, it says about 1.9 at the moment. We have to go on the test set behind me, which isn't switched on. So we'll come back to this in 20 minutes. So we'll just skip number 10 at the moment. That's for Russia, we're not doing that. RT108, they're allowed 8 watts in Russia. So we don't need to do that. And we don't need to do 209. That actually covers it. We've done 4 watts and we're not in Russia. So I'll tell you what, there's only 4 things to do on the receiver because it's not really adjustable. So we may as well do this. So we want, what we're going to do, we need to connect the signal generator for 27205, which we're on. Well, we weren't. We'll do it on channel 20. I said they'd call for something different, and they are doing. So we're in FM, EU, and we're looking for what? Test point 1, which is, I'll move that away now we've done it. There's test point 1. This would be much easier with an analog meter instead of a digital one. And I want you to do if this is the detector, this is a rubbish method. I'm just going to put the oscilloscope up because I think that's what they're getting you to do. I think they're getting this is the FM detector. And well, I've just set that for peak on the oscilloscope and it's 3.4 volts on the test point. So I'd rather see it on the oscilloscope than whatever they're doing. That is something I'm probably better set up to do. And then on AM, we're just RT3 squelch. RT3 on AM. So just go to AM, CEPT AM. RT1. RT1 is there. Slightly different layout on this version. I need a lookup table for dBm to microvolts. Of course, I sent it to the wrong printer that cost me more money to use. 111 is 0.5. It's 0.58ish. And that's 0.58. So connect an HF signal generator 27205 to the jack antenna jack, adjusted for minus 111 dBm without modulation. Turns that off. Adjust RT1 counterclockwise direction so the signal's no longer audible. So RT1 is that one. Squelch control fully counterclockwise. Oh, is this auto squelch? Yeah. This is setting auto squelch. So that's it. Set. Go to You see, the next one is adjust RT2, connect HS signal generator at 27206 megs to the jack at minus 47 dBm without and adjust the squelch control so the signal is no longer audible. But we can only generate an AM or an FM signal. We can't generate an SSB signal, and it doesn't say, you know, I think that's what you do. I don't think people have SSB signal generators. We did have a Schlumberger one once. It went in a skip because I got no interest in SSB. I put it on eBay for 50 quid. There were no takers. It went in a skip. 27206. Right, we will put this into USB. There we go. They want you to do what? Middle volume control, squelch clockwise. That's to full. They want 27206 on the signal generator. That'll do nicely. And they want minus 47 dBm. That's a lot of signal. 47 did I say? So it's like 1 millivolt. So that's 100 microvolts. That's 1 millivolt. And we're going to adjust RT2 if there is one on this radio. So there is a slight difference in layout between this and RT2. Where is it? Somewhere up there. RT2. We're doing what? Adjusting it in the clockwise direction so the signal's no longer audible. It isn't audible now. Like that. I'm going to put a bigger signal on to prove that works. I'm not happy about that. That's set. Well, we've got an RT3, but it doesn't talk about that. Right, well, we're done. We've just got deviation to do. And we'll plug that into the test set behind me. It may be ready, it may not be ready. We'll soon find out. And we'll go back to FM. RT3 RT3. Oh, of course, I said RT3 we're not touched, and of course it's deviation. It's R301, isn't it? What am I doing? Of course, we've done the receiver. I'm going back a page, aren't I? Because I missed out the deviation. RT301. Yeah. So it's going to be that one when we get there. Would it surprise you it's 9 o'clock at night? I think we've got a Uniden 100 to do tomorrow, and it's been modified, and we've got to try and get it back to working order and demodified. That'll be fun. Wallow, wallow. It's tiny. It's like 0.5. Wallow, wallow. There we go. Check that again. Wallow. It's 2.3. That will do. See if we can call Mr. Chippie. You never know. Tango 21, Mr. Chippie, do you copy off the dummy load? Yeah, go again, please. I'm just going to put it on the aerial. Quite a way, because he's hearing me over the tannoy system, and on the dummy load, he's 50 yards away. And I'll plug the extension speaker in instead of the instrument test speaker. Take it to ASQ. Tango 21, Mr. Chippie on the aerial.
Yep, roger that, loud and clear.
Roger on that, thank you. Right. Well, there we are, we're done. So I'll study the service manual and see what parts are likely to have failed in the transmitter if he's on a bad aerial. I think he's had one of those TA connectors where you have a pin these days. He used not to have a pin, and I think he's got missed out, and the SWR's been sky high. So there you go. But I need to be able to check alignment, and that's why we've done this exercise. It's the last thing I wanted to do. I say it doesn't interest me. So we've got a UF224N. That's going to be an interesting item, and an IRF528. We've got a very conventional 2SC2314 there. I think this doesn't use that, does it? Its pre-drive is that one, and that's going to be the difference between the super duper version, which this is for, with all that heatsink on the back. So I would think that's going to be the, I'll prove it in a moment, I think that's going to be the IRF 520, so that's going to be the UFZ24N. So what we're looking at, transistor 501 and 502. 501, 502. That doesn't tell us that, does it? You know, the half-hearted manual. I mean, we found an error telling you to do it on 19. Anyway, if it comes in with no transmit, then all we need to do is to take either of, it's going to be one of those 3 transistors that's failed if it's been on a bad SWR. It may not be the output transistor, it may be the driver or the pre-driver. We'll find out with the test meter which one is no good, and we'll take it from there. So that's why we've done this. It's because of this forthcoming repair. I wanted to check this manual is near enough. There is some slight differences, but it's near enough, I am sure. So there we have it. I will now put the lid back on, half-heartedly, because I want to finish the video. Put one screw in it. I dread to think how I'm going to be editing down the ums and the ers, I think, but there we are. I think finding test point 201 was the longest chore. So put that in. Put another one in. So at least we brought it up to 4 watts, haven't we, from dismal power. Just go through it on the aerial. Well, no, Roger. I don't know how you take the Roger bleep off. I'll have to look at the instruction book. Right. 27185 AM. It's so quiet, I'm checking the aerials plugged in. But often you hear a conversation on CEPT. Squash to auto. Right, just one final thing I want to do. That's back into the test set. I just want to write down the power figures We actually heard a conversation on CPT. I think there was a bit of something on one of the sidebands. Alright. Channel. We want channel 40 UK, which is there, and we're going to put the meter up on the screen. And are we any better off power wise? Because you optimize it on channel 20 on CPT, which isn't what I want, but as a set with an SSB capability, I can see why they've done that. So it's 3.4 watts. Channel 1. .7 watts. CPT. 4.05 watts. Our current consumption now, and we'll go back to, we'll go to channel 40, that's centre of the band. It's now 2.2. Deviation, for what it's worth on this test set. Wallow. It's reading something stupid. But AM modulation, if we go to AM. Oh, it was on AM, that's why I wasn't reading. Wallow, we've got 90 odd percent. So it's still 95%, resetting that. Deviation turned out to be 1.5 kilohertz as we thought it was going to be. Let's go through to FM where I thought it was before. Wallow. It's probably reading right actually. It says it's 2.6. So on the other one it said 2.4. So that was 2.1 to 2. I'll put 2.35 kilohertz. As manual. We've got that slight discrepancy by point something or other, but there's no thing to adjust that. This is 27. Let's look at the frequency. So it was slightly low before we set all that up. We'll do it on channel 20 UK. .79119 now, 27.79119. This will be no change whatsoever. The meter's a fake meter. It just tells you what it's been pre-programmed to say. And no doubt the squelch is still in there. Let's just check. Put the signal generator to channel 20 CEPT. With the audio on, and squelch. Let's put squelch to maximum. It's even tighter now. 5.6, but it's set as per manual, you see. Threshold. Set squelch. .5. Auto squelch. .9. And everything else will be the same. When I key up, it's going to still say whatever it's been programmed to say, which is that. So there we go. So that's covered the President grant in a very slow way, but it's proved that I can actually do it. And the only things we missed out was the Russian adjustments, because there's no point wasting my time resetting the thing for Russia when we're not going to be there. And there were those 3 adjustments there, and then there was the two-tone for the audio of the SSB. I can't do that without a two-tone generator. So there we go. And I'm not going to buy one. I say it doesn't interest me. It's a one-off. When I did the President Walker for the customer, I said we will only be doing it AM and FM for you, because I'm not set up to be doing SSB and I'm not interested. I'm one of those people, if I'm not interested in the subject, I can't do it. I couldn't sell Mercedes cars because I hate the things. So there we go. Thank you for watching. President Grant 2 Mark II, not the premium, which this manual's for. So that's paved the way, hopefully, to do a gentleman's repair. And if it turns out we can't, well, we can always get it back, can't it?